A nicely done rendition of the national anthem from the Travis Rebel Marching Band gets us going this evening on SHN Sports ISD Thursday Night Game of the Week. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Happy you joined us for this broadcast presented by SHN Sports. The two teams meeting up tonight in Austin area, rivals of the Rebels and the Raiders, both coming in looking for their first win of the season and in district play. But tonight, it looks like it's going to be a really competitive game. Despite the muggy weather throughout the day, it's cleared up just for a beautiful evening of Thursday Night Lights.
Well, we're looking forward to these two teams and what they generate against each other, Karl, and both of them have in their games so far even offenses and fairly even defenses, so they match up well together, and it'll be interesting to see which team is able to get the victory tonight.
Darren McFerrin is back deep to receive with Paul Ekanga, and about to kick it away for the Reagan Raiders is Frederick Brewster. So Brewster places it at the 40 and will ready his team as he'll take it on straight away, 6 yards out. Brewster puts toe leather. It's an onside kick that will be fallen on top of by one of the upmen, and he's marked down at the 45. So the Raiders trying to catch off the Rebels off guard, and it doesn't quite work out for them, and they give good field positioning to Travis right away. So the Rebels at their own 45, wearing red jerseys with red helmets, gray pants with a red stripe down the side, will set up in the quarterback shotgun pistol formation is Cesar Galindo. Galindo will get new instructions from the sidelines as he has McFerrin behind him. They change into a more traditional shotgun. McFerrin gets the handoff, runs behind his left tackle, gets across the 50 down to the 44-yard line into Raiders territory and picks up the first down. 11-yard gain on the first play from scrimmage this evening.
Definitely a hard-fought gain from the running back as he took through the left side and was able to get 11 yards, keeping his legs churning.
Galindo will hand off on an end around, running around right end, looking for some room across the 40 and hit as he crosses it. For the Rebels is J.J. Garza, and he is brought down on the play by Oscar Becerra. And a pickup of 6 on first down brings up 2nd and 4. Rebels in Reagan territory. 2 receivers to the right side, and it looks like a busted play on a play action. A pass out to the left side, incomplete, intended to the far side. Incomplete as it was intended for Mark Martinez, and it'll be an adventure trying to read these numbers all night long as there's pretty close the silver and red colors are here for the Rebels.
Galindo stepping back for that pass. He just leads Martinez just a little too far.
Galindo wants to keep here on 3rd and 4 and is able to get back to the line of scrimmage as he wanted to run behind the left side of his line and is stopped in the trenches. And that brings up 4th down, and here in kind of no man's land, they could punt it and pin the Raiders deep, but Reagan looking to take advantage of starting at their own 40. Travis looking to take advantage of starting at their own 45, going for it on 4th and 4. It's a handoff running around right side and picking up the first down a little bit more before spinning out of bounds is Cesar Galindo. or excuse me, Darren McFerrin. And McFerrin picks up the first down for the Rebels.
Oscar Becerra once again in on that tackle, Karl. I mean, he's making himself known tonight to the Travis offense.
1st and 10 from the 30. It's a handoff for McFerrin. McFerrin crosses the 25 and falls to the 21, just short of the first down. Pickup of 9 there for McFerrin on the handoff. Second and 1, just a yard away from the red zone. The Rebels pick up a 4th down conversion, looking for a 2nd down conversion. They'll go for a pass here. It's swung out and not quite ready for it, and the pass behind them to Martinez. Almost intercepted, but a flag comes in on the play. Almost coming up with the interception was Nate Clark. He broke that play up. Let's see what the flag's about.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer's 15-yard penalty goes against the Reagan Raiders, and that'll move the ball half the distance to the goal.
Looks like they're giving them the full 15.
Oh, they will give them the full 15 down to the 10.5-yard line. So, and that's also an automatic first down.
Play developed quickly for the Rebels, and Reagan.
McFerrin bounces outside to the right and goes in for the touchdown. 10 yards on the touchdown run for Darian McFerrin, and the Travis Rebels strike first on the first possession of the ball game.
Rebels using the power run game to score the first touchdown of the night and have been effective running the ball.
The extra point is up and good. And I was waiting for the PA to maybe help me out. Number 15 not on the roster this evening. So he does go ahead and put the Travis Rebels ahead 7-0. And, you know, good enough looking kick that maybe this is a JV guy just brought up game time. So, yeah, the number 15 kicks it through for Travis, and really going for it on that 4th and 4 around the 44 was the big key. And Darian McFerrin, the running back for the Rebels, came up big on that drive and puts Travis ahead.
I was watching them during the warm-ups, and their place kicker was booting them through from as far back as 45 yards.
Townsend as well as Harper back deep to receive this kick from the now infamous number 15. 6-yard charge. This one high and short, angling to the 20, and it'll be taken at the 21 across the left hash mark, across the 30 to the 40. Dodges a defender at the 50, down the left sideline at the 30. 2 men to beat across the 20. 10, 5, touchdown as he backpedals into the end zone and tosses it to the ref. Flags come in after the play. It looks like either a taunting or maybe unnecessary roughness there. And, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what the flag is about. But go ahead and give an 80-yard touchdown to Vontae Harper. Let's see what the penalty flag's about. Looks like it will not be against the Raiders or take away the touchdown, at least, as after the play. So the officials need to get together and talk and announce this before the point after attempt, obviously. Vontae Harper got close to a unsportsmanlike conduct call, but this one will go against the Raiders. He kind of turned around, did a little Deshaun Jackson backpedaling into the end zone. And I think this will take down the 6 points. And they will back him up to where the taunting was called at the 10 minus 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike conduct. So it will take down the touchdown.
Yeah, if he would have just waited till he crossed the plane to the goal line.
Vontae Harper cost himself an 80-yard touchdown return. Kick on the kickoff. So now it'll be up to the Reagan Raiders offense coming out for their first time this evening to get into the end zone. They're led by David Rivera. Rivera in the shotgun. To his right is Carlos Sanchez. And flags come in here.
Timeout.
I think a timeout was called before the delay of game
by the Raiders.
That's their first of the evening. 9:10 left here in the first quarter. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. And, yeah, right there, Vontae Harper decided to, like we said, the only analysis I can give or analogy I can give is Deshaun Jackson in the NFL, who liked to backpedal into the end zone when he knew that he wasn't going to be touched. Otherwise, it looked like the Rebels had an angle at him at around the 20-yard line to shove him out of bounds, and he just put on the extra step that they didn't quite have and made it into the end zone. But somewhere around the 5, he turned around, and that penalty assessed with another 15 yards will set them up at the 18-yard line.
More rain starting to fall in the stadium as we're set to get the first possession of the Raiders underway.
It's Rivera in the shotgun. Sanchez to his left. And he will hand it off to Sanchez, who runs on a misdirection to the right side of the line, across the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. 18-yard touchdown run by Carlos Sanchez. And that makes this a 7-6 ball game. The Reagan Raiders able to get on the scoreboard despite the taunting penalty pulling them back from the kickoff return for a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, the right side of that line, the guard and tackle, open up a hole wide enough for a boxcar to run through, Karl.
Frederick Brewster will go ahead and kick through the extra point. This one on the way and over and kick through the uprights and good. We're tied at 7. So two teams that have had a little bit of there's a flag on the play. We'll see if this backs up the point after attempt. And the officials talking this over. It looks like Reagan might have to redo this point after attempt. In a game like this, it might be worth it to go for 2 if you have an opportunity, but it looks like it'll be against the Raiders. So,
and it's a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, this all of a sudden makes a 20-yard point after attempt turn into a 37-yarder. A chop block was the call. Now the hold by Rivera, the kick, this one through the uprights and perfect. So now we're tied at 7.
Another flag on the play.
Oh boy, another flag? The kick is good. After the play, it looks like might have been roughing the kicker, which will be assessed on the kickoff here. So, quite the eventful first few minutes here. 9:01 left in the first quarter. Travis and Reagan going back and forth, both scoring on their first possession of the ball game, looking for their first win of the season. I think we're going to see a lot of offense tonight.
I think most definitely that you are absolutely 100% correct.
Maybe not as much as we saw last week with it was Austin and Hayes. The final score was 48-47, but does seem like it might be a fun game tonight as Reagan getting ready to kick it back off. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed from the 40-yard line. Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Oh, did Reagan decline it? The roughing the kicker? And it looked like Travis was getting ready for the penalty to be assessed.
They're backing Reagan up.
They're backing Reagan up now. And, yeah, now they're correcting the official. It needs to go the other way as the Rebels were backed up ready for the kickoff from the 45 in their own territory. So now we got it all straightened out and ready to go.
Just a little bit of confusion, but it's...
No worries, never hurt anybody. Well, sometimes I guess confusion has, but not in this case. Brewster will kick it away from the Rebel 45, puts his foot into it, and it sends it high and short. It'll be taken from the 10 and falling on top of it. I'm not quite sure if he was able to call for a fair catch.
I think he muffed it, and if he muffs it, it's going to be down where he went down.
Darian McFerrin down at the 8-yard line, and that's where the Rebels will start this drive.
Which is what we saw last Friday night at Cameron and Gerald, where Gerald muffed a kickoff, and he was calling fair catch.
But it wasn't upheld because he dropped the ball. But because he called for the fair catch, it also, that slows down the kicking team, so they have to stop the play. Looks like the Travis coaches are looking for an explanation because they saw the fair catch called by McFerrin. But as we just mentioned, if he drops it, he drops it. And the ball will be placed from the spot of the drop. And it looks like they might have moved him up to the 9-yard line, making the yard to gain the 19. They will give him the fair catch, saying that he did not muff it, I suppose, and start at the 25. A little more confusion here from the officiating crew, but it's all good as there's a flag over there at the 45 on the original kick, so perhaps...
Well, I'm kind of...
Yeah, the flag right here.
Maybe they're going to re-kick it. It's kind of the Travis formation out there right now is...
Yeah, it looks like they might do a re-kick.
I'm not understanding this unless it's that flag over there. Maybe Reagan was offsides.
That's a potential possibility, and I don't think they'll do the re-kick. I think they'll call an illegal kick or illegal procedure and just give them the 30. So,
well, the chain crew is definitely set up at the 30.
Yeah, no re-kick, but they'll give them the 30. And
no, it's where they're going to take possession, Karl.
All right, another flag comes out, and I think that might be just an accident.
At the 30-yard line.
So, yep, it'll be 1st and 30. Travis catches an interesting break. With 9 minutes left to play here in the first quarter, Galindo's in the shotgun. He has McFerrin to his left. And McFerrin gets the handoff, runs behind his center, and is wrapped up as he got back to the line of scrimmage. Rudy Edwards there to make the stop, and no gain on the play.
Number 80, Reagan, in on the tackle.
Rebels taking their time here. Play clock down to 20 seconds before they break the huddle. 2nd and 10.
Rebels have a good crowd here tonight. They have their elementary schools.
A awkward snap goes to the left of Galindo. He picks it up and decides to run, but he's going to be dropped for a loss to the 28-yard line by a gang of Raiders. And that brings up 3rd and long.
You're going to give him a loss of 3. It looked like he was more than that, but
he does do a good job of making the best of a broken play as Galindo had that snap go wide left of him. 10 seconds left on the play clock as Galindo sets up in the pistol. McFerrin behind him. Now McFerrin runs out of the backfield. It's a swing pass out to the left side, and McFerrin gets wrapped up immediately and dropped near the 20-yard line. The tackle made by Reagan's Lamont Townsend, and the loss all the way back to the 20-yard line will be a loss of 7 and brings up 4th and 20. So I assume this will be the time for the punting unit here for the Travis Rebels. Back deep to receive the punt is Vontre Harper, who just a few moments ago got in the end zone on a kickoff return, but was called back for taunting. Joe Cordova will punt this one away. Harper takes it from the 46. So across the left hash mark, evades a tackle, the 45-40. Gets away from another tackle, tries to spin away from a couple Rebels, and then he's brought down at the 36-yard line. So Vontre Harper with a 20-yard punt return, and he sets up the Reagan Raiders to the Rebels' 36-yard line. First and 10 for the Raiders. Raiders and Rebels is setting up for a tongue twister this evening. 6:35 left to go in the first quarter. And the Reagan Raiders, who have only run one play from scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball, an 18-yard touchdown run from Carlos Sanchez, come out and start this drive at the Rebels' 36-yard line. Rivera in the shotgun. Hands it off to Sanchez, who goes behind his right guard, and he's able to get to the line of scrimmage before he's hit and brought down by a slew of Rebels, led on the attack by Ricky Zamora. Second and 10. The drum band below us really getting into it. Instructions coming from the sideline, coming in a little late here. 8 seconds left on the play clock as Rivera relays their information to his offensive line. He'll set up in the shotgun. 3 seconds left on the play clock. Claps his hand just in time, and he hands it off. Running around left in, getting across the 30 and cutting down to the 25-yard line. A good gain for a first down. Picked up by Jalen Creighton. And he does a good job picking up the first down for the Reagan Raiders. Jalen Creighton also wears 3 every now and again, wearing 8 this evening. Set up to the left of Rivera. 2 receivers on either side. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. It's a handoff to Creighton. He's able to duck his head forward to pick up half a yard, maybe a full yard to the 24-yard line. Second and 9 for the Raiders here with 5:05 left to play in the first quarter.
First down play resulted in a short game. Bring up the second down.
Carlos Sanchez lined up to the left of Rivera. 2 receivers on both sides from the center field. A lob of a snap and a handoff to Sanchez, and he runs up the gut, picks up a couple yards. Is able to get to about the 22.5-yard line, picks up 2, 3rd and 7 play for the Raiders. Clock ticks here at 4:15 left in the first period of play. Maybe it's time for the Raiders to open up a pass play here. Sanchez to the right of Rivera. Montalongo wide to the right. Man in motion, handed off on an in around to Townsend. Townsend takes it around the left in across the 20 to the 15. Picks up the first down at the 11-yard line. And the forward progress marked at the 10-yard line. So, nice play by Lamont Townsend to come out of the slot and do the end around to the left side and picks up the first down for the Raiders. First and goal from the 10. It's a run up the middle. Sanchez gets to the 6 before he's hit, and he pushes back from that spot.
Number 15, Carlos Sanchez.
So Carlos Sanchez, who had the 18-yard touchdown run last series, gets ahead and takes 4 yards on first and goal from the 10. Clock moving here at 3:15 left in the first period. Rivera claps his hands for the snap count, hands it off to Sanchez, who ducks behind his right tackle and falls forward to the 2.5-yard line. And 3rd and goal for the Raiders, as they're going to have the one more chance to get into the end zone here before, at this point of the game, you take the points.
Absolutely. Get anything you can get. As it's raining, the ball's wet, ground's wet. And Reagan is running the power run game right up the middle for the most part during this series.
3rd and goal from the 3. It will be a pass play for Rivera. He drops back and decides to tuck it and run, and he pump fakes. He tries to extend for the end zone. He's stopped at the 1-yard line, and it'll be 4th and goal from the 1. And, a moment ago we just said why not go for it. But here, if you're able to get back to the line of scrimmage, you pin them deep and risk maybe a safety or, you possibly give a safety. So we'll see. It looks like the Raiders might elect to go for it here. Why not?
Why not?
From the 3, I'd say maybe kick the field goal, but from the 1, Sanchez is in the backfield. A handoff to Sanchez, and he will be stopped short of the goal line.
The Rebel defense just pops him right at the line and wraps him up, and he had no place to go.
Mark Martinez is in there for the tackle along with a couple other Rebels, and it's a turnover on downs. 1st and 10 from their own 1-yard line. The Travis Rebels take over, and it's a good defensive stop for a team that gave up 18 yards for a touchdown on the last play.
Yeah, I think it might be the 1-foot line, Karl.
Yeah, it is inside the 1.
Maybe a piece of paper might fit between it and the goal line.
They're trying to get all their players on the field. 14 seconds left here for the Rebels on the play clock. And I think they're going to burn a timeout here. Too important of a play to take the delay of game and lose 6 inches on the line of scrimmage.
Right. And I saw one of the players. He was not happy. I think he was afraid that they were going to be assessed a penalty and drive it half the distance to the goal.
Clock stops at 1:45 here in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. Travis just taking over after forcing a turnover on downs as the Reagan Raiders tried to get into the end zone and were stopped about a foot short. What does a foot do for you really at this point? I guess it might be the difference between a safety and getting back to the line of scrimmage, but at this point I almost say if you're the Rebels, why burn a timeout for half the distance to the goal, which ends up being 6 inches? Your center can just kind of scoot up a little bit in his stance, Right.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raider defense come in with a full blitz and try to get the safety and then get the ball back.
That like we said, that's why you go for it from the 1 near the goal line. Plenty of time left here. They're going to rush up and do a tight formation. It's under center handoff, and McFerrin gets away out of the trenches into the secondary across the 20, the 30. One man to beat as he crosses the 40, and he is dragged out near midfield. Saving the touchdown for the Raiders is Oscar Bracera, but a great job by Darren McFerrin as he gets not only out of the end zone for the setup of the play, but all the way to the 46-yard line for the Rebels.
Well, kind of curious is Reagan absolutely showed no urgency to get up to the line as Travis broke the huddle, and they got to the line of scrimmage, and the defense was still trying to get set.
Galindo will go from under center again. Fakes a hard count and then will step up and come out with new plays. Zamora in the backfield, and he gets the handoff, crosses midfield into Raiders territory, and he's brought down at the 47-yard line.
Tackled after a 7-yard gain by number 5, Lamont Townsend.
So Ricky Zamora getting the carry and picking up 7 yards. Minute 7 left to play here in the first quarter. 2nd and 3 for the Rebels as they do another quick huddle break. Under center is Galindo. He hands it off to Zamora, and this time the Raiders are ready for it. Being dragged down and tackled at midfield is Zamora. The tackle made by the Raiders defense, and number 80, who is, hey, not on our roster. So not only number 15 for the Rebels, number 80 for the Raiders will also be a playmaker this evening and might not get his name called. But we apologize. We go with the rosters given to us. Galindo sends a fullback in motion over to the right side, a toss, and it'll be McFerrin running for a block and is able to duck his head to the 49-yard line, but only picks up a yard, and that'll be 4th and 4 here for the Rebels. Called about 4th and 5, about half-yard difference. That's the final play of the first quarter. So not too far to travel as they flip the fields. We're tied at 7 after 1 complete. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. This is Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week. Happy you tuned in here to SHN Sports as these two teams looking for their first win tonight, and it's been a really competitive game so far.
So far, they've had some explosive plays, and the defenses have both come up strong in stopping some forward momentum, on this drive right here where Travis broke from the 1-foot line and put it out toward midfield, and they have just not been able to get anything going here and find themselves in a 4th and 5 situation. And likewise, that same Travis team on defense was able to stop the power run game of the Reagan Raiders at the 1-foot line on the turnover downs.
Yeah, that might come back to be one of the big plays of the evening here as we start the second quarter, and the Rebels will go ahead and head towards the north end zone now, and they'll go for it on 4th and 5 from around midfield, call it the 49, and it's a pooch kick there. Nobody back deep to receive for the Raiders. It takes a bounce to the sideline, and it's downed by Paul Ikonga, and that's a returnless punt. A smart play there on the pooch punt puts Reagan around the 33-yard line where they'll start. So 1st and 10 for the Raiders, trying to take the lead here for the first time this evening. Their offensive linemen, a couple of them are already out waiting for the rest of the offense. 9 seconds came off the clock here in the start of the second quarter. Vontae Harper lines up wide to the left. To the right, it's Townsend. Rivera in the shotgun, hands it off to Sanchez. He's immediately under pressure, gets away from one tackle and ducks forward to the 35 where he picks up 1 yard.
Number 15, Carlos Sanchez on the
So Carlos Sanchez getting the majority of the carries tonight and has an 18-yard touchdown for the only score for Reagan. Keeps the clock running at 11:30 left here in the second quarter. 20 seconds on the play clock here as Rivera relays the instructions to his players. Rivera hands it off to Sanchez, and he is brought down at the line of scrimmage. The tackle made by Jose Cardoza, and the loss of 2 yards behind the initial line of scrimmage for this play will bring up 3rd and 11. No face mask.
Call on that, as the defender clearly had his hand inside the face mask as you saw the head turn around.
No call, and that goes to the dismay of the Raiders, and it's a 3rd and long here as Rivera's in the shotgun. Sanchez to his right. He'll drop back for a pass, scans to the left, steps up in the pocket, fires down the left sideline, incomplete. He was looking for Vontre Harper, but Harper just a couple strides away on that route from catching the football. The clock stops at 10:26 left in the second quarter, and the punting unit will come out for the Raiders.
Well, still shows third down. There he makes the turn. So I knew it was fourth down.
I was about to say, I knew it was too. Did I miss something?
Yeah, right.
These officials did pull out a flag. The penalty was declined as it was against the Raiders, and now two players will go back deep to receive this punt, as it's McFerrin and Martinez waiting behind the 40. Punted away by Rivera. He sends this one wobbly to the sideline, and it takes a Raider bounce before it goes out of bounds at around the 36-yard line. And very generous to the Rebels as the ball is officially marked out at the 40. So Travis takes over at their own 40-yard line.
Well, that being said, we'd like to recognize our sponsors for Austin AISD football. Georgetown Jewelers and
Minuteman
Press. Ricky Poe over at Georgetown Jewelers in the Village Shopping Center in Georgetown. Stop by and view their jewelry selections.
McFerrin gets the handoff, and he'll lose yards back to the 38-yard line. And yes, we would like to thank Georgetown Jewelers and Minuteman Press for sponsoring Thursday Night Austin ISD Game of the Week here between the Reagan Raiders and the Travis Rebels. The Rebels here with the football and out of the pistol formation. It's second and 12.
Alliteration, right, Carl?
Oh, yeah, it's a tough one as an incomplete pass from Galindo as he was trying to set up for the screen under pressure. I don't think he liked his intended receiver being covered, and he just decided to let the clock stop at 9:40 left here in the second quarter. Brings up 3rd and 12, and Travis trying to find a little bit of a spark on offense. They scored on their first drive, have come up empty since then. Reagan, same effect. Competitive football here. The defense has decided to wake up after those first two drives. McFerrin to the left of Galindo. Galindo will drop back for a pass, scans over to the right, fires to the right sideline, incomplete. Looked like he was looking for his intended receiver, Jalen Creighton, and bring up 4th down instead. And now the punting unit will come out. They did a pooch punt earlier, probably won't do it this time, as Vontre Harper is back deep to receive this punt.
Yeah, they probably want to keep it away from him. He's already gone to the house once.
That was called back for taunting. Kicking it away will be Jose Cardoza. And he gets a really good hold of this one. Harper will wave off his blockers, and this will take a roll to the sideline and a little bit of a rebel roll.
A neutral bounce there, Karl.
Yeah, very slightly goes behind the 30 on the bounce, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Reagan Raiders at their own 29-yard line.
I think that's about as a neutral of a bounce as you can ever think to see.
Yeah, you want to down that in case it maybe goes the opposite direction with that oblong shape of the football going towards the opposite side of the field.
And both offenses have struggled after their first possessions on the night, Karl. The defenses have held strong from both sides as we're still in a 7-7 tie.
Rivera in the shotgun, hands it off to Sanchez, who runs behind his left side of the line, but he's brought down from behind by Mark Martinez as he picks up 4 yards to the 34-yard line, so call it gain of 5, and good job by Martinez to bring him down from behind because he had a lot of grass in front of him. Or in this case, turf. Clock moving here at 8:48 left here in the second quarter from Burger Stadium in downtown Austin, Texas. A lob of a snap and a handoff to Sanchez from Rivera. He's able to rush to the 37-yard line and make this a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, you're looking at 3rd and maybe 1.5.
Carry by number 15, Angus Christian.
In the backfield with Rivera, it's Javon Hodges and Carlos Sanchez. 2 receivers to the right, a single receiver to the left, 3rd and 1. And Rivera wants to talk to his backs before getting the snap with 5 seconds on the play count and gets it to Hodges. And Hodges takes it around right in, picks up the first down, crosses the 45, and is brought down just shy of midfield. The tackle made by the Rebels, Alcelito Lopez, but the first down picked up by the Raiders. So 1st and 10, Raiders still in their own territory at the 49-yard line. Clock picks back up at 7:33. And a handoff to Sanchez behind his left tackle. He gets to the midfield line and fights forward to the 49 into Rebel territory. So a gain of 2 on the handoff. And neither quarterback has really had the playbook opened up into passing, as they've just kind of kept it on the ground for the most part between Sanchez and McFerrin. Second and 8, under 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. The Raiders trying to take the lead for the first time this evening. They go deep right as I say that they haven't opened up the playbook, and it falls just incomplete to Oscar Becerra as it was going deep for the first time this night, David Rivera. And why not on 2nd and 8? You bring up an opportunity that maybe the Rebels weren't expecting. The incomplete pass stops the clock at 6:44. Now 3rd and 8. This is also that no man's land. They could probably go for a short gain and try and make this a 4th and manageable. Sanchez to the right of Rivera. Sanchez gets it, evades 1 tackle, and cuts to the left side. Stopped just short of the 45-yard line. They might even give him the 45 on forward progress to spot the ball. And a 4th and 4 situation for the Raiders. I think they're going to go for it. Coach A.J. Mustafa says that, yes, go for it here. It's 6:36 left in the second quarter. Not sure why the clock stopped there, but it stops regardless, and Sanchez will set up offset to the right of Rivera. 2 receivers on either side. 4th and 4 in motion. Handoff here to the end around, and going across the 40 and spinning forward, Vontre Harper has the first down, and he's brought down at the 36-yard line. Harper coming out of that slot, doing a good job picking up the first down. Not the first time we've seen that this evening, but probably the most important one here as the team's trying to establish momentum going into the locker rooms. And a timeout called by the Rebels stops the clock at 6:20 left here in the second quarter. And that was an important play for the Rebels, who we talked about their defense did a good job stopping the Raiders from getting into the end zone at the 1-yard line on 4th and goal. And right there, the defense kind of gave a little momentum back to Reagan.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good stop on their part, and so they try to regroup right here as Reagan is driving the ball and hope to work some of that same magic and put a stop to this drive.
Still plenty of space behind that defense to get a stop here, but now with 6:20 left in the first half, and the band's getting ready to perform, I imagine the Travis Rebels would like to go ahead and maybe pick up the momentum and try and get a score of their own going into the locker rooms. Instead, they're going to have to try and do it here with the 1st and 10 for the Raiders. From the 36-yard line of the Rebels, Rivera in the shotgun. Sanchez to his right, 2 receivers on the right side and the left. A wide snap goes back to Rivera. It was a designed pass. He's going to tuck it and run, slides near the 30. A flag on the play in the area of a hold. This might back this one up.
See a helmet off, Karl, so I'm curious as to if that has anything to do with the call.
Hands to the face on the defense of the Rebels. So that's not what they want. It's an automatic first down and added on to the end of the run, which was marked from the 31, I believe, and that 10-yard penalty brings it all the way to the 21-yard line. The Raiders a yard away from getting into the red zone. 6:14 left in the first half. The Raiders taking advantage of a penalty and a 4th down conversion, trying to knock on the door here and take the lead for the first time this evening. The fullback for Reagan is Chris Perez, and it'll be Sanchez with the give. He kicks into the end zone for a 21-yard touchdown.
And no flags.
No flags on the play, and Reagan takes the lead for the first time this evening.
For a 21-yard Reagan Raider touchdown.
So, Carlos Sanchez with the 2nd touchdown of the evening. Perez there as the fullback created a little bit of a distraction for the Rebels, and it was run lane set up for Sanchez, and once he finds some space, he's shifty and got away from the Travis defense. Brewster will kick the extra point through the uprights and good. And Reagan takes a 14-7 lead with 5:45 left in the second quarter. Still plenty of time for Travis to answer back with a touchdown of their own. It's been a competitive ball game tonight here at Berger Stadium.
It definitely has, and, maybe we're looking like we had mentioned last week with Hayes and Austin High, whoever has the ball last may be the one to win this game.
Yeah, both teams scored on their opening drives, and then the defenses did a good job of slowing down the opposing teams. As we mentioned, the Rebels had a stop at the goal line on 4th and goal from the 1. The Raiders unable to get anything going except for that first play from scrimmage, an 18-yard touchdown set up by a taunting penalty from Vontre Harper, who actually returned it for a touchdown and was called for the penalty at the 3-yard line on a kickoff. And then the Rebels unable to stop him there. But since then, that was the first real drive of momentum that Reagan was able to get together. Brewster will kick it away from the 40-yard line. McFerrin back deep to receive with Ekalanga. And it's taken at the 4-yard line from Ekalanga, and he gets across the 15, finds room at the 20, down the left sideline at the 30, evades one tackle at the 35, across the 40, and brought down at the 48-yard line finally by Uriel Montalongo. But it was a great return there from Paul Ekalanga, and he gets some momentum into the tank of the Travis Rebels.
Well, it's definitely a good injection of momentum by that effort by Ekalanga to get up to the 48-yard line on a deep kick by the Raiders.
Ekalanga hasn't touched the ball except for special teams purposes tonight, and the play clock down to 13 seconds. The huddle breaks for the Rebels. Galindo in the shotgun. McFerrin to his left, and flags come in here. It's a false start going against the Travis Rebels, and there goes some of that momentum as they're going to have to play behind the sticks. Two receivers to the right, two men in the backfield with Galindo. He's going to send slot man in motion, and they run into each other as it was McFerrin trying to get the handoff, and the slot coming out and for the end around was Nelson Morales. He runs right into Darian McFerrin, and that's a loss all the way back to the 39-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play, and 2nd and 19 here for the Rebels. They lose that momentum entirely now from that return all the way to the 48. And now a handoff to McFerrin. He follows a blocker to the 41-yard line as he's brought down by Nate Clark of the Raiders. And that is only a pickup of 2, so 3rd and 17 now for the Rebels. I think this is maybe a time where you bring out a pass play, and if you're Reagan, you just let anything short be taken, because you have an opportunity here with 4:32 left. Your defense might allow your offense to continue the momentum they just established when they took the lead for the first time this evening.
I believe that would be absolutely right. Rebels with running back Darren McFerrin keeps making me think of former Dallas Cowboys running back.
And on the pass, it's intercepted. Coming up with the interception for the Raiders is Omari Neal. And you talk about that Raider defense giving momentum to their offense. 4:09 left, and they're going to take over inside of Rebel territory at the 47-yard line. And it's Omari Neal who really pumps up that sideline for the Raiders.
Yeah, he did a good job of reading Galindo's eyes and stepping in front of that pass to make the interception.
Reagan up 14-7, starts this drive at the 47-yard line in Rebel territory. 4:09 to play until halftime.
Reagan burns a lot of time over at the sideline before they come in.
Yeah, and their play clock's down to 5 seconds before they're even set. 3 seconds left here. They might have to take a timeout. And, yeah, I think Coach Mustafa on the sideline there was ready to go. There's, like you mentioned, they took some time on the play clock. Off the play clock, they burned their second time out of the half, and they have 1 left. 2 left for the Travis Rebels. 4:09 left to play in the second quarter. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis bringing you this edition of Austin ISD Thursday Night Football, the game of the week, presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press.
Yeah,
Happy you tuned in.
Definitely want to give a shout-out to Minuteman Press. Ty Gibson and all the good folks over at Minuteman Press. They can take care of all of your printing needs.
So that timeout pretty much just to save 5 yards. The Reagan Raiders come back out. 1st and 10 from the Rebel 47-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, a single receiver to the right. 2 men in the backfield, Vontre Harper and Sanchez. It's a handoff to Harper. He runs around left end, gets a block from Sanchez across the 45 to the 40, down the left sideline at the 30. 1 man to beat as he is out of bounds at the 18-yard line, and Vontre Harper picks up 30 yards from the line of scrimmage, and it was almost a little bit of honesty there. I don't think the officials whistled the play dead as he stepped out of bounds, and he might have had an opportunity to sneak in a few more yards. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line, following the 30-yard pickup from Vontre Harper. Harper set up to the right, and it's going to be designed keeper here as running around the left side as Townsend and Lamont Townsend spins to the 13-yard line, a wildcat formation there for the Raiders. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for the Raiders as they're trying to extend their 14-7 lead. 3:30 left here in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left, 2 men in the backfield, and it's Another keeper by Townsend as he runs around the right side, gets inside the 10, a flag on the play. Townsend just a yard short of the first down, but this flag might bring him back.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was in the area of a hold, so that one most likely is coming back.
Block in the back is the official call against the Raiders, and that'll push them back 10 yards from the spot of the foul. I think they marked the foul at the 17-yard line, so this one might move back to the 27. Called the 23, so it was from where the ball was placed. 2nd and 16 now. So Townsend stays in the shotgun. He has Vontre Harper to his right, Carlos Sanchez to his left. A handoff to Harper. Harper goes to the left sideline. He's brought down from behind. And making the tackle was Mark Martinez. And he was brought down out of bounds just shy of the original line of scrimmage, but the clock keeps running. So I suppose the officials said keep the clock moving. And we're going to go back to that standard lineup of David Rivera in the shotgun. So Rivera in the shotgun, Sanchez to his right, 2 receivers on both sides, 3rd and 12 from the 19. A wobbly snap will just be taken by Sanchez, and Sanchez is brought down in the backfield immediately. The tackle made by Jose Cardoza, and that'll bring up 4th and a mile. All the way back to the 31-yard line. The yard to gain is the 8. Minute 52 left here as the clock keeps ticking, and I think the Rebels want to burn a timeout here. They'll take their 2nd timeout of the half. And that's a smart play because at the moment I think the Raiders' game plan was just to chew up some clock and maybe punt it. We'll see what they decide to do here, but it wouldn't be too smart to go for it on 4th and 24. Beg your pardon, the Rebels, I thought they – no, it's a mistake by the public address announcer. He said it was the Rebels' last timeout. It's 1 timeout left for both teams now. And with a minute 50 left here in the 2nd quarter, the Rebels maybe see an opportunity to pick up a 2-minute drill chance.
Possibly. That their offense has gotten that first explosive play, and then Reagan has been able to shut them down and get the turnover either on the punt or the down.
Well, for the moment, it looks like the Raiders are going to go for it on 4th and 24. Dropping back is Rivera. He's firing for the end zone, into the end zone and over the head of Vontre Harper, the intended receiver. The turnover on downs will give the Rebels the ball at their own 31-yard line with a minute 44 left in the 2nd quarter. I like the aggressive effort by Reagan right there because if things go well, hey, that's the lead extended for the Raiders. But instead, not even like it's a great field position for the Rebels. So the turnover on downs allows Travis to take over at their own 31-yard line. Galindo in the shotgun. McFerrin to his left. Official whistles play to start. Rolling out to the left is Galindo. Scans down the field, fires down the left sideline, and it's intercepted. Coming up with the pick, Uriel Montalongo. And the Raiders will have a chance with a minute 36 left, taking over at their own 45-yard line.
Well, Reagan has shown that they can go deep. Harper was open, and he just happened to overthrow his receiver.
Yeah, I think I liked the idea there, but just a little underthrown, and now the Raiders' offense will come back out. Rivera in the shotgun. Hands it off to Sanchez, who runs behind his left guard and lowers his shoulder pads to the 46-yard line, picks up a yard.
Number 15, Angus Christian on the carry, tackled by number 52.
Our public address announcer is saying Angus Christian is the man in the backfield there, not Carlos Sanchez. But according to the roster, which I prefer to go off of, it's Carlos Sanchez in the backfield. We did see them earlier in the year, and Angus Christian was in the backfield as a running back, but he was wearing number 13 that night. There's a pass out in the flat, and it's incomplete, intended for Oscar Becerra as it bounced, and he tried to trap it and thought he was in the NFL, came off of his knees and decided to run. And the official whistled that play dead when he saw what happened. The incomplete pass stops the clock at 58 seconds left in the second quarter, and Reagan might have to go to the air one more time here to try and get something going. Two receivers on both sides. Rivera swings it out to the left side. Vontre Harper evades one tackle, crosses the 45, gets away from another defender across midfield, and is shoved out of bounds at the Rebels' 47-yard line, and that makes this a fourth and more manageable on the screen. So 4th and 2 from the Rebels' 47-yard line. 27 seconds left here on the game clock. 20 seconds left on the play clock. No timeout being used by Reagan here or Travis with the 4th and 2. So now going in motion is Townsend, and it'll be Rivera keeping it, trying to spin it midfield. He's brought down, and that might be the final play of the half as a timeout will be taken by the Rebels. Oh, excuse me, the clock will stop here on the change of possession as that was 4th down. Travis gets the ball back, and they'll have 8 seconds to work with one timeout as well.
That'll give them one shot for the end zone.
One shot for the end zone, maybe a quick out route to set up for another shot at the end zone. Let's see what the Rebels do here. Trailing by 7, 8 seconds left to play. Two receivers to the left, 2 men in the backfield with Galindo. McFerrin to his right. Sends a man in motion on the end around. Getting the handoff is J.J. Garza. Garza takes it across the 45 and runs out of bounds at the 35-yard line. The clock expires, and that takes us into the half. So, after 2 complete, the Reagan Raiders lead the Travis Rebels 14-7 here from Burger Stadium. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. We're going to take a break, go ahead and play for you the halftime performances, and then we'll come back with the start of the second half here on SHN Sports.
Travis Band is under the direction of David Contreras and Romel. Dance Guard Director is Jackie Martinez. Principal of Travis High School is Christina Steele-Hampton. Fine Arts Director is Mr. Alan Lambert. We want to thank the Mendez Middle School Band under the direction of Don Iglesias and Scott Crum, and Fulmore Middle School Band under the direction of Brian Thomas and Beverly Mickelson for joining us tonight. Now, for your halftime entertainment, please help me welcome to the field the award-winning Travis High School Rebelettes under the direction of Mrs. Jackie Martinez. Officers of the Rebelettes are Captain Bailey Zavaleta, First Lieutenant Juliana Velasquez, Junior Lieutenant Jessica Jimenez, Junior Lieutenant Surad Reyes, and Junior Lieutenant Emily Vasquez. Rebelette of the Week is Diana Hernandez, Hard Worker of the Week is Blanca Mendez, and Officer Choice of the Week is Cecilia Moran. Performing this week a palm routine to Lips Are Moving.
Second half moments away from getting underway here from Burger Stadium. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Happy you tuned in to this edition of Austin ISD Thursday Night Game of the Week presented by SHN Sports. Another big shout out to our sponsors, Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. It's been a competitive ball game here tonight between two teams looking for their first win of the season. The Reagan Raiders fell behind early in the first quarter as the Travis Rebels scored on their first possession of the ball game, the first possession of the ball game. Reagan went ahead and had a kickoff return of about 80 yards that was called back at the 3-yard line for a taunting penalty. And then the next play was a touchdown run by Carlos Sanchez. He took it into the end zone for 6 points, and that tied the ball game up at 7. And then it wasn't until about 5 minutes left to play in the second quarter when Reagan took the lead on a 25-yard touchdown run again by Carlos Sanchez and put the Raiders ahead 14-7, and that's where we stand right now, moments away from the start of the third quarter. And again, as we mentioned, Travis got the ball to start the game, so they'll be kicking it off here at the start of the third quarter. Coming up momentarily, both teams about to take the field coming out of their inflatables, I suppose, running a little behind because the band's still wrapping up their performances at halftime. The Raiders come out onto the field, and once again they're wearing their white helmets, white jerseys with sky blue numbers, and white pants. The Travis Rebels, I suppose, filing into their inflatable. Yeah, the entire team packed into the tunnel as they'll be coming out in just a second to burst through. They having a little fun here, trying to find some energy coming into the start of the second half. So, Rebels unable to get on the end zone after that first drive of the ball game where they had great field position to start off as Reagan elected to go for the onside kick to start the ball game, and it did not work. So the Rebels started at their own 45 and took it into the end zone. And now it'll come down to them getting the ball to start this third quarter and seeing if they can tie this ball game up. The officials not really putting any pressure to get the third quarter started, so I suppose
kind of what I think is kind of okay.
Yeah, very laid-back officiating staff tonight.
Well, it seemed like the game they were pushing to get started real quickly, and the half, not so much.
The name unknown, number 15, will kick it off for the Rebels.
Well, during the break, I also looked at the roster listed on Max Preps, which also has it listed as Sanchez.
Yeah, we were discussing it earlier about the Reagan number 15 being Carlos Sanchez, but next door, the public address announcer announcing number 15 as Angus Christian, who is number 13 on our roster. But either way, the 15 being kicked off, number 15 kicks it off, taken by one of the upmen for the Reagan Raiders. He avoids a couple tackles, and it's a great job by Hodges to find room down the left sideline across the 45, and the Reagan Raiders up 14-7 will have good field positioning at the 46-yard line of their own territory to start off the third quarter. 11:50 left to play here in this third quarter. I'm happy you guys stayed tuned in for this broadcast of Austin ISD's Thursday night game of the week presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. The return by Hodges taken to the 46, and there's a penalty that'll be tacked on after that. Didn't quite catch as they think the referee just signaled a quick 5-yard penalty that will move the Raiders into Rebel territory. So from the 49-yard line, two men in the backfield with Rivera. He has Sanchez to his right and Hodges to his left. Single receivers split out wide either way. A handoff to Sanchez, and he is spun down. The tackle made by the Rebels, Jarrell Hamilton-Jones, and it's a loss back to the 49-yard line in Raiders territory, so 2nd and 12.
Jones breaking through the offensive line quickly and shut Sanchez down in the backfield, as you said. He didn't have a chance. He got in between the guard and tackle.
2nd and 12, Raiders from their own 49. It's a quick pass from Rivera out to the sideline, and looking to make a move in Rebel territory is Vontre Harper, and Harper picks up some of those yards and gets it to the 45-yard line. A gain of 7 on 2nd down, 3rd and 5 here for the Reagan Raiders on their first possession of the second half. And this is probably two-play territory here, as we've seen a 4th down conversion attempt a couple times from both teams this evening. And now Rivera will drop back, scans across the field, fires to the left. Down the middle, it's Vontre Harper getting interfered with by a couple defenders, and this will be 15-yard penalties and an automatic first down. Throwing into triple coverage was Rivera, but the defense couldn't resist creating the contact, and the Raiders will move down the field on the penalty.
Call it pass interference against the defense, resulting in a Reagan Raider first down.
Wasn't anything overly aggressive, but it also could have been in the area of a target. Not quite helmet to helmet, but definitely a defenseless player in the air was hit right there as Vontre Harper went up to try and make that catch. So from the 30, 1st and 10, the clock stopped at 10:23 after the penalty. The handoff to Sanchez. He goes by on the left line and gets across the 20 before he is tripped up on the play. It was Darian McFerrin making the stop, but the first down picked up by Sanchez. McFerrin, who was also the running back on the offensive side of the ball, seems like may have gotten a little banged up making that tackle, which probably saved 6 points as Sanchez is shifty and has gotten in the end zone a couple times on runs like that. So in the red zone, 1st and 10 for the Raiders. It's a handoff here to the back, Hodges, and Hodges is able to find his way to the 17-yard line. So a pickup of 3 yards on the play. 9:38 left here in the third quarter, and thanks to the pass interference penalty into the red zone, it's a pass interference penalty and the Sanchez run, the Raiders are in the red zone here and trying to extend their lead. Hand off to Sanchez. He cuts left around left end as he follows his blockers to the 11-yard line before he's stopped on the play, and not quite there for the first down. That's a pickup of 8. So 3rd and 1 here for the Raiders as they're trying to really establish that run game. Not too many passes this evening here from David Rivera. Rivera in the shotgun. 3rd and 1. Sanchez to his right, and the handoff to Sanchez. He finds the first down and spins away from a tackle and gets to the 8-yard line. 1st and 10. First
flag.
and goal, but a flag
Late
comes
flag.
into play.
Yep.
See what this is about. Would be 1st and goal from the 8. Referee will go ahead and call for the unsportsmanlike conduct going against the Reagan Raiders.
He was ejected.
Did you catch which number was ejected? Is it Vontre Harper who's heading to the sideline?
That's what I am thinking, but I am not exactly sure.
I think Vontre Harper's seeing if he can stay on the sidelines, but he might have to go back to the locker room here as it's a
I wondered
third
if it's
down.
Sanchez. Sanchez now walking off the field.
That would be a real big blow to the Raiders here with 8:39 left in the second quarter. They'll give the first down to the Raiders. It's a penalty assessed after they picked up the first down. And the ball moved back to the 30-yard line. Call it the, the 23. Yeah, call it the 23. And
it's a 15-yard penalty because he was down to the 8.
Yeah, so 1st and 10 now, and Sanchez will not return this evening, it seems like. So the handoff now to Hodges, and Hodges spins at the line of scrimmage and is able to fall to the 20-yard line, picks up 3 yards as he becomes the primary running back.
That's unfortunate. Anytime you get those self-inflicted wounds. You know, Harper with the taunting call earlier cost him a touchdown, and Sanchez,
who has both touchdowns tonight for the Raiders, now out of the game. 2nd and 7 here in the third quarter. Clock moving under 7:45 left, and Harper gets it on the end around, running around right in, tried to get away from one tackler, couldn't quite do it. Making the stop at the ankles is Sam Shabana, and a flag comes in here. See what this is about. It looks like it might be against the Rebels with 7:38 left and yards picked up to the 17. It's automatic first down, as it was against the Rebels, and half the distance to the goal. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. First and goal from the 9. 2 men in the backfield with Rivera. A little busted play. He's going to keep it himself, and Rivera is able to find yards back to the 10. Loss of about half a yard. And Rivera wanted to hand it off there to Hodges, and Hodges ran around him. So seems to be miscommunication on that play, and there's an injured player for the Rebels. 7:11 left here in the third quarter. The Raiders trying to get in the end zone on an eventful first drive of the evening. And we'll pause here for the injured Travis Rebel. Back.
Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. Please visit our sponsors, for they sponsor Austin Thursday night football.
And supporting these athletes, getting the opportunity to bring them broadcasts.
Absolutely. We would like to thank Ricky Poe and the fine folks at Georgetown Jewelry, and Ty Gibson and all the fine folks at Minuteman Press there in Georgetown. They can take care of all of your printing supply needs.
Well, Ron Hill will be able to come off the field under his own power, so the Raiders will now pick back up here with 7:11 left in the third quarter. It is 2nd and goal from the 10. .30 seconds on the play clock. Plenty of time here for David Rivera. Perez is the fullback. Hodges to his left. Drops back, and Rivera had a miscommunication with Vontre Harper on the route, and pass falls incomplete. 3rd and goal from the 10.
Back-to-back busted plays for Reagan.
Clock stops at 6:43 on the incomplete pass, and Reagan might go for it on 4th and goal, as we've seen them do that tonight already. But again, maybe take the points this evening, especially with your running back now ejected from the ball game. Rivera will drop back and slides it inside. Picking up the ball is Jalen Moore, and they will say incomplete as it just bounced into his hands. So 4th and goal, and I think the field goal unit's going to come out. This will be a 27-yard field goal. Frederick Brewster will do the kicking. Ten seconds left here on the play clock as the left guard rushes in from the sidelines. The hold by Rivera. The attempt is wide right, no good, and Travis will take over. So Reagan electing to go for the points there, as on that eventful drive they burn 5.5 minutes, but unable to come away with any points. But they do lose their running back, Carlos Sanchez, and now it'll be 1st and 10 for the the Rebels, as they take over and they try to retake the lead or tie it up at best. Galindo in the shotgun. Zamora to his right. The officials whistle for play to start, and it'll be a delayed handoff to Zamora. He runs by in his left end, and he is tackled to the ground. The tackle made by Derek Landrum after a pickup of 2 yards. Lorenzo Puente in the backfield. He gets the handoff, runs by in left tackle, and is cut up at the 25-yard line and gets to the 27. After the tackle made by Omarion Neal. That brings up 3rd and about 2 for the Travis Rebels. Their first offensive drive of the 3rd quarter, 5:34 left to play in the 3rd. Puente behind Galindo in the pistol, and it'll be a false start as a little bit of a flinch came from Lorenzo Puente, and 5 yards backed them up, and that's a self-inflicted wound there by the Rebels, making that 3rd and 7 now, and what could have been an easy run for 2 yards now turns into a potential pass play. And another flag comes in, stop this, and a timeout will be called here by the Rebels. So talking things over will be Joe Frank Martinez and his teammate, and his team, I should say. 5:15 left in the 3rd quarter. Reagan leads Travis 14-7. And this time out here maybe to open up the playbook. As I was saying, a simple run play probably wouldn't do the Rebels the 7 yards that they need, as packing the box were the Raiders. Rebels haven't been too successful through the air this evening, and on cue to maybe make this a little bit easier of a passing play, the football gets wiped off, and Galindo will set up in the pistol. Puente behind him. 2 receivers to the left, a single receiver to the right. 3rd and 7 from the 23. Play action. Pass out to the right side. It's caught, and taking it for the first down. Coming down with it is Mark Martinez, and he gets it right to the 30, the yard to gain, and that's a first down for the Travis Rebels. 5 minutes left in the 3rd, and the Rebels have new life on this drive, as it looked like they were going to run it before that timeout call, and a good timeout called there by Joe Frank Martinez. The huddle breaks, 1st and 10 from the 30. Galindo in the shotgun. Hands it off to Puente. Puente up the middle and is able to get to the 35 and turns his legs to a couple more yards to the 37-yard line. Picks up 7 yards on 1st down.
Update on a couple scores in the area right now. Maynard leads Connolly 57-14, and Westlake now leads Del Valley 45-0.
Thank you for that, Michael. As we approach 4 minutes left in this ball game, 14-7. The Rebels trail, but they're trying to do something about that. A delayed handoff here to Puente. He gets the 1st down across the 40 and is brought down at the 46-yard line. So Puente, being the workhorse here in this drive, is really delivering. Two receivers lined up on the left side, single receiver on the right. Puente in the pistol behind Galindo, and he gets the handoff. Puente gets back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, say he loses a yard, so good job by the Reagan defense to make the tackle in the trenches and stop forward progress just a yard behind that 46. So the Rebels lose a yard on the handoff.
One more score, Karl, from District 12 5A action. Seguin leads McCallum 41-7 in the 3rd quarter.
Puente the back in the pistol. Galindo barking out orders, now changes up the play. Puente moves offset to the left. It's a handoff, or it's a fake handoff, and running around and being brought down behind the 40 is Galindo, the tackle made by Javon Hodges. And that moves the ball back to the 38-yard line. 3rd and 18 for the Rebels, and what was a promising drive, it stalled out.
I know they were moving the ball well. They had a pass completion, which one of few, if any, that have been caught so far in the game.
Under 2 minutes to play in the 3rd. Galindo in the pistol. Puente behind him. Man goes in motion, and it's dropped back for a pass, set up for a screen. The pass was intended for Lorenzo Puente, who came out of the backfield, unable to make the catch, and the punting unit will come out. Clock stops at 1:49 left in the 3rd. Vontre Harper will set up behind the 30-yard line to try and receive this punt. Jason Collins calls for the snap. Takes a step and gets this one off. It's high and short. Takes a bounce at the 40 and a Raiders roll to the 46-yard line. Reagan takes over at their own 46-yard line, leading 14-7 with 1:36 left to play in the 3rd quarter. And at this point, you probably think if you're Reagan, you are out your best running back, your starting running back at least, and it's probably time to really just chew up as much clock as possible, keep that ball on the turf as much as they need. Again, taking their time out of the sidelines, the play clock down to 15 seconds as they move their tight end in motion right to left, and a lob of a snap and a handoff goes to Townsend, and Lamont Townsend loses a yard to the 45. The tackle was made by Jose Cardoza and keeps the clock running as it was a tackle in bounds, obviously, at 1:07 left to play in the third. 15 seconds on the play clock here for the Raiders. A swing pass out to the left side. It's caught by Vontre Harper down the left sideline across midfield. Tries to evade a couple defenders. Couldn't quite find the space. And he's brought down at the 49-yard line. I think they'll mark him, right there at the 49. He was close to midfield. He picks up 6 yards, and 3rd and 5 here for the Raiders as they're trying to get something going there with a quick pass out for the screen. And the bubble screen worked well for Vontre Harper, who can create some plays in space, and now an injured Rebel on the field. 11 seconds left here in the third quarter, and hopefully the Rebel is down. It looked like he tried to get up. I can't quite make out the number from here, and just decided to hit the turf. And always good to stay on the side of caution when you're playing this game, and if something doesn't feel right, don't force it. And in this situation, we have an injury timeout. A score from the American League playoff game going on tonight. The Boston Red Sox leading the Houston Astros 4-0 in the middle of the 6th inning. Astros trying to find some magic, trailing 3-1.
Yeah, this could be it if they don't come back. But I have every hope and bit of faith that if there's a team that's able to do it, it's going to be the Houston Astros.
Last night was a rough one, losing those 2 runs. It'll be David Rivera in the shotgun, and a handoff to Lamont Townsend. Townsend finds some room across the 45 to the 40, and he's brought down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. So first down picked up by the Raiders. A good carry there by Lamont Townsend, and that will be the final play of the third quarter. So going into the fourth quarter, the Reagan Raiders lead the Travis Rebels 14-7, and when we come back, it'll be the Raiders trying to add on to their lead as they took it down to the 33-yard line, and we'll have a new set of downs. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. This is Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week, presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. The chain gang already set up, and the Raiders trying to continue this, get this fourth quarter started as quickly as possible as they want to continue the momentum that they've picked up here, finding a couple first downs. The officials will go ahead and mark the ball. Rivera will hand it off to Townsend, who cuts back to the middle and is able to find a yard to the 32-yard line before being chopped down. The tackle made by Travis big man Eduardo Cortinas. 2nd and 9 here for the Reagan Raiders. Two receivers to the right, single receiver on the left is Vontre Harper. 2 men in the backfield for Rivera. He pump fakes and rolls out to the right and then finds his man Townsend coming out of the backfield for a completed pass before he is shoved laterally out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So a gain of 2 on that pass play, and 3rd and 7 here as Lamont Townsend is shoved out of bounds, but the forward progress marked inbound, so the clock moves. Under 11 minutes to play in the ball game. The Raiders looking to extend their lead and perhaps make it insurmountable. Two men in the backfield here with Rivera. Zone read, handoff to Townsend. Townsend finds some room on the right side and is able to pick up the first down inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. So a pickup of 8 yards and a first down for Lamont Townsend, and a bit of a running back by committee since the ejection of Carlos Sanchez. First and 10 from the Rebel 22-yard line. Townsend to the right of Rivera, Perez to the left, and it's a pass out to the left side. Harper makes the catch on the bubble and gets to the 20 and is brought down at the ankles, and hunching over after making the tackle is Nelson Morales, and Morales on the turf, and it looks like he took the grunt of that hit to make the stop. That was a pickup of 4. So a 2nd and 6 coming up for Reagan after this injury timeout, and hopefully Morales is okay. He energetically bounces back up, just had the wind knocked out of him perhaps, and he'll walk over to the sideline. So picking things back up, it's 14-7. Reagan looking to add on to their lead as they're in the red zone. 2nd and 6 after the 4-yard gain by Vontre Harper on the swing pass out in the flat. And David Rivera with Perez to his right and Townsend to his left will be in the shotgun. Perez the fullback. Now the handoff to Townsend. Townsend finds an angle on the right side, looking to beat one man as he crosses the 10, angles back at the 5, and just decides to go out of bounds, stopping the clock at 9:42 after picking up the first down. First and goal for the Raiders. First and goal from the 4-yard line, and the Raiders have been in this situation before tonight, and they were unable to get it across the goal line at 4th and goal from the 1. Rivera hands it to Townsend, and Townsend tries to cut in the middle, and he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage before being wrapped up and brought down by David Rodriguez.
Well, the Rebel defense tonight has stopped Reagan twice with 1st and goal.
There's a flag on the play.
Once they held Reagan to with 1 foot of the end zone. The second time they held him to a missed field goal attempt.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Rebels. This will be half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down. The clock stopped at 9:31 here at Burger Stadium. The ball down to the about 2-yard line, and the Raiders can go ahead and try and drive this in and add 6 more points onto their lead. Clock picks back up again, moving at 9:25 here in the 4th. Rivera in the shotgun. Hands off to Lamont, and he cuts to the 2-yard line. Might have picked up half a yard, but Lamont Townsend unable to find the crease and get through. 2nd and goal from the 3.
And if they want to get the ball into the end zone, they're going to have to get more push from those big guys up front.
Maybe also get a little creative, see if they have a trick up their sleeves. Rivera calls for the snap on 2nd and goal, and it will pass it to the end zone, incomplete. Intended receiver looked to be the receiver Oscar Becerra, who we also saw on the defensive side of ball make some plays tonight. And 3rd and goal from the 3 now for Reagan, and they're trying to get in, but that was the creativeness I was talking about that might not have worked out for them. Townsend to Rivera's left. 3rd and goal from the 3. Lamont Townsend gets it, and he extends for the end zone, and he'll be down at the 1. Fourth and goal from the 1. Travis has already gotten a stop from that exact goal line earlier this evening in a similar situation, and now it comes down to, why not just go under center and try and really push forward for it? But it seems like Reagan is dead set on going forward out of the shotgun. Under 8 minutes to play in the 4th. New instructions being relayed. With 10 seconds left on the play clock, Reagan might have to burn a timeout here. 5 seconds left on the play clock. They'll go ahead and burn that timeout, I imagine. Yeah, that'll bring us down. They wanted to burn as much clock as possible. They weren't even trying to draw off the Rebels offsides, as it wasn't set up on their play. No hard counts. And 4th and goal from the 1. They missed a field goal attempt earlier from 37 yards out, but tonight Reagan has been good on their 2 extra points. Why not go for the extra point here and really create the separation, make this a 2-score ball game? That's my thought process.
As many points as you can put between you and them, because Travis has done a heck of a job of standing up runners and keep them from getting across that end zone. You see the running backs trying to stretch across their arms across the goal line to no success. And your kicker has been effective from extra point range, and you're more than within that range right now.
Let's see what the Reagan Raiders elect to do. As it looks like Rivera, who is the holder, is out there, and Lamont Townsend will be the one joining him in the backfield instead of the kicker, Frederick Brewster. So they're going to go for it on 4th and goal from the 1. Perez is the fullback. It'll be Townsend getting the handoff, fighting for the goal line, unable to get there. I see no signal yet, and it will be another stop at the goal line by the Rebel defense, a turnover on downs, and the Travis Rebels take over at the 1-yard line. So Reagan unable to get in, and they'll have to settle for this touchdown lead with 7:25 left in the 4th quarter. Travis with an opportunity to tie this ball game up, maybe take the lead depending on what they do if they score 99 yards with 99 yards in front of them.
99.9 yards.
Yeah, that, again, very close. The nose of the football is creating a shadow into the goal line. And again, they're going to try that hurry-up offense. Under center is Galindo. He hands it off, and taking it to the 5-yard line is Lorenzo Puente, and Puente is dragged down. A flag comes in, and it looks like it might be against the Rebels.
Well, it's going to be a face mask call on Reagan, but unsportsmanlike conduct against Travis.
So 2 flags come in, and do they offset is the question.
And if number 8 doesn't watch it, he's going to end up getting a taunting penalty called against him.
Yeah, Javon Hodges dancing out there, and
well, he's the guy that's guilty of the face mask.
so we have the personal foul. That's a face mask. That goes against the Raiders, and now the referee taking a moment to make the other signal, which goes against the Raiders, and I believe the penalty's offset and will replay first down.
There's the unsportsmanlike against Travis.
It would be nice if he had a mic. He doesn't have a mic this evening.
So it was the face mask against Reagan.
Might just be easier for us to let it all play out and instead of interpret it and see where the ball ends up. And
I think it's going to be offsetting. They're both 15-yard penalties.
But do they replay the down? That's the question. The chain gang looking a little confused, but it looks like perhaps a second penalty goes against the Raiders and moves them from the result of the play, which was out near the 10-yard line. And we saw this earlier where
they walked it off and then walked it back.
Yeah. So the ball will be placed at the 10.5-yard line, but a first down here for the Rebels. So at least they're not snapping it into their own end zone. And first and 10 from the 10 in their own territory. Galindo under center. And flags come in. This is in the area of a false start. It's a referee's timeout. 7:10 left to play in the fourth. It's 14-7. Reagan trying to hold on to this lead. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. And the officiating crew decides to talk things over real quick, maybe to make sure they got that last play right. I think they agree that they did. And first and 10, the ball officially at the 11-yard line. Galindo under center. Hands it to the back and running across the 15, fighting for extra yards, getting a push from his offensive line is the big man with the ball, David Rodriguez. He picks up the first down to the 22-yard line for the Rebels. Clock stops at 6:50 to move the chains and picks back up. From the right hash mark, a huddle offense here for the Rebels as they've moved back to going under center, which was successful for them in the first half to move the ball. A piece of debris thrown to the sidelines by Galindo. And another handoff to Rodriguez trying to go around the left end. He picks up a yard to the 24-yard line. I thought for a second there was a false start that maybe should have been called as it looked like Galindo was going to throw to a screen to the sideline there. But the ball didn't get snapped. So, hey, whatever the issue was, the officials saw it as well. So good officiating there to keep the ball going. 2nd and 9 from the 24. Galindo under center. Hands it off to Puente, and he loses yards back to the 22-yard line. Lorenzo Puente gets back to the original line of scrimmage for this series of downs as he was tackled by Davis Johnson, and that's now 3rd and 10 for the Travis Rebels, and a timeout will be called by
the Rebels.
Joe Frank Martinez, with 5:21 left to play here in the fourth quarter. And the way Reagan has been moving the ball, not necessarily translating to points. Neither team has scored here in the second half, but it makes me wonder if perhaps they want to set up something to get short yardage and make this a 4th and manageable and go for it this close to the end zone. They don't want to give up the ball with 5:21 left. They need as much time as they can to go the length of the field, not being able to score since that opening drive.
Right. Their offense has struggled to put anything together. They've picked up some first downs along the way, but it may be one or two, and they've had to rely on some favorable penalty calls to extend possessions, and right now they find themselves in a 3rd and long. They have passed the ball a couple of times and have a couple of receptions, so it'll be interesting to see what they do deep here in their own end of the field.
Well, they burned their first of 3 timeouts here. Actually, they burned their second timeout according to the scoreboard. So, Travis, 3rd and 9 from the 23-yard line. They're going to go back to the pistol formation, and
Reagan
wants to try to take time to talk things over. So,
interesting.
Yeah, 5:21 left here in the 4th quarter, and back-to-back timeouts, a game of chess being played between A.J. Mustafa and Joe Frank Martinez. So, not sure what the conversation would be about. It's hard for me to speculate, but definitely in the driver's seat are the Reagan Raiders, and I wonder what instructions they're getting right now on the defensive side of the ball, because they probably understand, thinking about it, that they're going to go for it on 4th down here no matter what almost.
You got to wonder, being this deep in their end of the field, but Travis has kept them at bay and not allowed them to cross over that goal line. Reagan's telling his defense, guys, you got to hold. Worst case scenario, we're going to end up with the ball right around midfield, and we'll go down and we'll put the nail in this one.
So 3rd and 10 from the 23 after 2 timeouts. Galindo will go back under center. Man goes in motion. Puente is the tailback. It's a play action. Rolling out to the right is Galindo, looking for a man rolling with him. It's incomplete, intended for David Rodriguez, and 4th down here for the Rebels. And again, that would have made it a 4th and maybe manageable, doable, but instead it's 4th and long, and maybe the punting unit does come out. Let's see what they elect to do here. Does look like a punting setup here. If you ever had a fake and think that it can pick up 10 yards, punt will be kicked away and taken by Vontre Harper. He evades one tackle at the 40, looking for space across the 40 the other way, and slides down to the 37, call it the 38-yard line. And Reagan takes over from the Travis 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, and now with 5:01 left to play in the 4th quarter, time to just go back to your trusty run game. They've been stopped at the goal line twice, and a field goal would pretty much secure the victory. So if they can just get into field goal position here on this drive, that would pretty much secure Reagan's first win of the season. Rivera in the shotgun. Hands it off, and Lamont Townsend cuts inside and gets across the 35 to the 30-yard line. He's close to the yard to gain, which is about the 28.5, and he's brought down just short. So 2nd and 1 coming up. Clock keeps moving. 4:35 left in the 4th. The handoff to Lamont Townsend, running around left end, taking it wide and cut down at the 25-yard line. He picks up the 1st down. The clock stops at 4:16 to move the chains. Lopez makes the tackle, and the clock picks back up. 4 minutes left here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Reagan strategically burn some play clock as Rivera looks to the sidelines for the play call. claps his hands. 8 seconds left is when he gets the snaps, and Townsend looks like he slipped up in the backfield but was able to fall back to the line of scrimmage. No loss, no gain.
This is definitely where they're missing Sanchez and his shiftiness, as you had mentioned several times.
But right now it's all about managing that clock, as 2nd and 10 with 3:20 left in the 4th. Letting that play clock get underneath 10 seconds before the snap is really what I think Reagan's looking for here. Handoff to Lamont Townsend, trying to take it around the right side this time, and picks up 5 yards to the 20. So Lamont Townsend getting the majority of the carries after the ejection of Carlos Sanchez. Needs to pick up 5 more yards as the clock moves to 2:40 left in the 4th quarter. 1 timeout left for both teams. Reagan trying to come away with their first victory of the season. If they could pick up this first down, that would go a long way towards that goal. Rivera in the shotgun, 3rd and 5, and the handoff to number 5. Lamont Townsend evades 1 tackle, tries to stiff arm a defender, but is brought down short of the yard to gain. The tackle made by Mark Martinez, and the referee points forward there. I didn't quite catch if there was a flag. I don't think there was, and yeah, it'll be 4th and 2 here from the 17, actually caught the 18, so 4th and 3. Only a pickup of 2 there by Townsend. And the last time out of the ball game for the Travis Rebels, it gets used up here, stopping the clock at 2:06. Well, they've made a stop at 4th and goal from the 1. Can they make a stop at 4th and 3 from the 17?
Yeah, that's a good question. You got to wonder what's going on in the coach's mind right now. Do you take another shot for a field goal? Your defense has been successful of stopping the Travis run game.
A 34-yard attempt. I would say go for it. Why not? At this point, yeah, like you said, the defense has been successful, and it's not like they've been able to do much. But they did miss a 37-yard attempt earlier. So, interesting contemplation time here for the Reagan Raiders.
Looks like they will be going for it.
So, 4th and 3 from the 17-yard line. Rivera in the shotgun, Townsend to his left. Vontre Harper lines up in the slot to the right side. Harper goes in motion right to left. It's a handoff to Lamont Townsend. He ducks through tackle and gets across the 10 to the 5-yard line, called the 7 before he's brought down, and that's the first down needed for the Reagan Raiders. That moves the chains, and a new series of down, 1st and goal for Reagan.
Travis definitely got on the hook for those trips left, thinking that they were definitely going for the pass. And it opened up that interior run game, and he ran through the power between the guard and tackle off the right side.
Yeah, and it was probably a good misdirection there with Vontre Harper going in motion, as he's a weapon that they had to respect, and that made it a little easier for Townsend. Minute 25 left here in the 4th quarter. It's the handoff to Townsend. He is hit and loses yards back to the 10.
And Travis doing what they've done all night with those 1st and goal situations as they stack up the running backs at the line.
The play clock shows 0 right now. Now it picks back up here, and it's victory formation time for the Reagan Raiders, if my math is correct. They can go ahead and just take a knee, and that should bring up the final play and the first victory of the season for the Reagan Raiders.
I think they're going to take the penalty. They're out of timeouts. So they'll take the penalty and take the knee, and
that should do it.
That'll do it.
They could technically do it now, I suppose, because, yeah, like you just said, the Rebels don't have any timeouts left, and Reagan can just go ahead and
second down, he could have.
They elect to call a timeout.
I thought they said they were out of timeouts. I guess Travis was out of timeouts.
Travis was out of timeouts. Reagan uses their final timeout, and honestly, we could start to wrap this one up because they just need to take a knee now with 24 seconds left and no timeouts left in the ball game.
24 seconds and 25 seconds on the play clock. I mean on the play clock.
Obviously, we'll play this one out till the end, but good job by the Reagan Raiders here in the second half of a defensive battle to really keep Travis away from anything threatening to perhaps tie this ball game up and send it into overtime.
It has been a hard-fought game between these two schools, and you can definitely see some of the rivalry as tempers have flared on more than one occasion.
So barring anything crazy, this should be the final play of the ball game. And it's a shotgun victory formation. Rivera takes the knee, and that will do it for this ball game. So the Reagan Raiders pick up their first victory of the season, defeating the Travis Rebels 14-7. Michael, any final thoughts here before we sign off?
It was a defensive struggle for both teams all the way through, Carl. My hat's off to Reagan picking up their first victory of the game. My hat's off, even though Travis takes the loss, they were impressive on stopping the Reagan offense in the red zones. Reagan, once they were in the red zones, they just could not get anything going. And my hat's off to that defense for playing tough.
Well, that'll do it from Berger Stadium here. The Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week is on a bye week next week. No Thursday night games in Austin ISD, but I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Happy you guys tuned in. Once again, presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. Final score, Reagan picking up their first victory of the season over Travis, 14-7. Good night, everyone.